financing institutions are, some are not. It doesn't matter, though. What you should be concerned about is that you know that if anything happens, you're going to keep all that you have. Mm-hmm. That's the most important thing. Mm-hmm. You know, no one can take it away from you. Right. And if you're not structured with an asset protection plan properly, that can happen. Mm-hmm. So let me also talk about corporate formation, because this is very, very important. You can't go to LegalZoom. You can't go to your accountant. By the way, accountants have ruined more business people than in the history of mankind. Every accountant has the same language. And the reason for that is, they went to accounting school many, many years ago when they taught when business was pretty much all the same. So you're gonna make something, you're gonna sell something, you have to store it somewhere. Mm-hmm. So you're gonna lose money your first 3 years, and if you're gonna do that, then you have to set yourself up and you have to make an election to be taxed as an S corp. Mm-hmm. So that was good and true 30, 40, 50 years ago. Mm-hmm. That's no longer true today. But every accountant, and I see this all the time, you've got to be an S. You've got to be an S. Okay.
Yeah, I've heard that so many times.
The S stands for stupid.
But you know what? That's interesting, though, because that is a big question that I get in all the classes I've taught. I've had CPAs come in, and that question's been asked: which one should I do? Should I do a S corp or C corp?
And the universal answer is S. The S stands for stupid. There are some circumstances under which making the election to file as an S is valid and it'll work. But for most people, that isn't true, and it only ends up hurting you. Why does it hurt you? Because when you make the election to file as an S, you're being taxed at a personal tax rate, which are the worst tax rates they are. So you always want to be taxed as a corporation because those are the best rates they are.
Right.
Okay? That's the simplest I've ever heard it explained.
That's why I'm taking it in right now.
Now, here's the other thing. When you decide to establish a business, there's some very important legal questions that you have to entertain in order to determine the best form for you. Accountants don't know this. These are all legal considerations. So you have to know choice of venue. What state are you going to set up in?
Right.
Different states have different laws that with different levels of protection. You have to be concerned about taxes. What are the taxes in that state? Do they have any? You have to be concerned about officer protection. As a business owner, you have to be concerned about that. You want to know that you are set up in a state where there's little possibility that you're going to be sued as a business owner or as an officer.
And with that being said, we're at the top of the hour. Let's go ahead and take a break. For those of you who are listening, I hope this is as intense to you as it is for us. We're learning so much about this, and that's why we were so excited about having our guests in the studios with us today. We have Mr. Rubert Francisco from JE Holdings, and he's here to educate us. I should say this again, JE Holdings, LLC. So he's here to educate us today, and Crystal and I, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop, and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186.
So we're back on the Business Zone with
Krista
and Gilbert Buchanan, the small business paramedic, and our special guest, Mr. Rubert Francisco. And we're talking about some great things about asset protection, asset planning, and we're getting an education here. So all you entrepreneurs who are listening right now, you're tuning in, I really, really would like you guys to give a call because I'm sure you got questions, just like we have questions too. You want to give us a call here. Our phone number is 323-293-3375. That's 323-293-3375. So, Crystal, did you have a question for Mr. Francisco?
So, and I find it interesting, especially from an accountant. I get, some of it, what you're saying, but they understand. I mean, it's all about taxation, right? So if they're telling you to a structure an S when they know that the better corporation, as a C, you'd get a better tax rate. I don't get that.
But they don't know because these are all legal matters. These are not accounting matters.
Oh, okay. And they also tell you not to, and I've had clients that have come to me because their CPA have told them, only do a corporation in California, don't do Delaware, don't do Las Vegas, just do it in California. So I guess that's erroneous. Or
actually, you should never do it unless you have to. There are some types of businesses you have to be incorporated here. Mm-hmm. California is one of the worst places to be incorporated.
Really?
For many reasons, including taxation. Of course, we have very high corporate tax rate. But California is not a business-friendly state, so it doesn't offer a lot of protection for officers or business owners. Mm-hmm. Okay, Delaware is no good. Delaware is old news. Nevada is old news. Anyone that tells you to incorporate in Nevada is a fool.
Okay.
Beginning in 2006, Nevada started changing their laws. So they went from first to worse between 2006 and now. What happened was lots of people used to go to Nevada. Over the years, we've incorporated thousands of people in Nevada. Mm-hmm. But this was prior to 2006 when the law started to change. At that time, Nevada used to require very little, prior to 2006, it used to require very little information. And so anonymity was an important thing for a lot of clients. So that's why they went there. But that changed starting in 2006 and forward. So they required, I think July 1, 2006, they started to require that anyone that was incorporated in Nevada had to have a Nevada state business license. And in the Nevada state business license, you had to list names, addresses, social security numbers of anyone that had a beneficial interest in the entity. Mm-hmm. So right away, anonymity went out the window. Mm. In addition to that, since that time, the laws have changed, and just in the past 2 years, they've now changed the law again, and it's now requiring you to make, first of all, this business license was $250 a year. Mm-hmm. Their fees have gone up, and now they're requiring many types of entity to file an additional kind of filing if you're incorporated in Nevada.
Okay. So where are the best places in terms of
where to incorporate
costs? Yeah, to incorporate and to form an LLC.
Okay. Don't automatically go to an LLC. An LLC is a very, very complicated entity, and especially in California, by the way. So let me tell you this. In California, the laws regarding LLCs changed about 2 years ago. So now we have about 8 different kinds of operating agreements that we use when we're setting up LLCs in California. 8.
And that's supposed to be that's what we were told, that the LLC was the simplest formation that you could do.
It's not.
Okay.
Especially in California. Because if you don't have the right operating agreement, something happens, you're going to be held personally liable. And
that's the whole idea, is to prevent you from being personally liable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So depending on what you're doing, now, if you're in an entertainment business, there are many states that have different kinds of benefits tax-wise for production companies who are making motion pictures and television. Probably the best state all around to incorporate in is Wyoming.
Tell us why.
Alaska is a good state. South Dakota. And a lot of it's because these states have rules that has rules that have to do with the charging order, what is called foreclosure of a charging order. Mm-hmm. So if you're in California, and most states allow foreclosure of a charging order, that means the reason why people like LLCs were designed with asset protection benefits in mind. Okay. C corporations were designed for tax benefits. Okay? So if you're doing something risky, so if you're a landlord, if you have a taxi service, an airplane, anything that's risky, you need to operate under the rubric of an LLC because of what is known as the charging order protection. With a charging order, if someone gets a judgment against you, it's called a charging order. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult to collect on a charging order because that person has to go to court in front of a judge and ask the judge to foreclose on that order. That means allow them to proceed to collect against you. Mm-hmm. Okay? And California and many states allow this. States like Wyoming and Alaska and a few others do not allow foreclosure of a charging order. So if someone gets a judgment against you, it's just too bad because they're not going to be able to collect.
So even if the business is stationed here in California, but you incorporate in Wyoming, those laws will still protect you? Because then you're considered a foreign corporation to them, right?
You're a foreign corporation if you register as one, which means you do the filing.
Okay.
You don't have to do that. Mm-hmm. If you maintain what is known as a corporate presence in the state
right.
where you're incorporated, then the issue becomes murky. It's not very clear then, so you have a fighting shot at being able to avoid California taxes. as well as California law. It's always a difficult proposition because California will just not let you.
Yeah. They won't let you, and that's the part I'm coming to right now, because when we do certifications for small businesses, they want, if you're not incorporated here, or if your LLC is not here, then you're considered a foreign corporation. So now you have to fill out those foreign corporation paperwork in order to satisfy that for your certification.
Right.
So how does that work for the small business owner who doesn't know those things?
Well, if you're going to be playing in that space where you're going after these contracts and so on, and the rules are the rules, you have to file. You have to file. But what happens is, if there is a problem and you are incorporated somewhere else, you have a fighting chance of maintaining officer protection based on the laws in your home state. Okay.
Now let me ask. So let's say, based upon the certification, is there some other protection for an officer, for the officers of a corporation, if you are incorporated here in California?
Well, California doesn't have as much protection as they do in other states. Okay. Wyoming is pretty much by the way, Delaware is old news also. People are always talking about Delaware. Delaware is old news.
And Nevada.
Well, it had a very short. I do think in the past, over the years, I've worked with companies that they had Delaware. Yeah. Vegas, Nevada was really the most popular one that everyone had for a long time. I have a friend that actually has. They've always done their incorporations there in Las Vegas.
Just out of curiosity, we know here in California you got to pay $800 to the state if you're registering as a C Corp or an S Corp or an LLC. In Wyoming, how much is the fee for that to file as a corporation? Do you know?
Well, Wyoming has no state corporation taxes, first of all.
Really? No taxes. But what about the filing fee?
Filing fees are very, very low. Filing fees are about $100.
Really?
And then the renewals are about $50 a year. Yeah.
Interesting.
But that's not the reason to go there. The reason to go there is all the protection that they get.
I know. I'm thinking protect, but when I think protection, I'm thinking all around. I'm thinking 360, because I'm looking at certifications, I'm looking at the operations side, I'm looking at everything.
Yeah. The big thing is, by the way, the other reason why you don't want to go to LegalZoom or your accountant is because this issue of protection that varies from state to state, you need to know that. Right. And if this isn't what you do for a living, you're not going to know that.
Right.
For example, you're not going to know that Wyoming has certain types of structures that nobody else has.
Right.
Which are all beneficial to a business owner. Nobody else has them.
Yeah.
Right. But as an attorney, if your client, you know that they filed in whatever state, Las Vegas, but you would be reaching back to your clients and letting them know we need to revisit your structure if the laws are changing in a state that they've actually they've received their corporation in or their structure in.
Well, you always want to do that, especially if they're in Nevada. Nevada is they need to be out of Nevada right now, because by the way, if you don't have this Nevada state business license, there's an argument that you're not really incorporated. So if something happens, you're going to be held personally liable.
Okay, so this brings up a good point. So let's say someone like me who wants to do business in Nevada. So my incorporation is done in Wyoming. Nevada is going to view me as a foreign corporation, so therefore I'm going to have to fill out that foreign corporation paperwork and pay that fee. Will they still consider me as a corporation then once I've done that, or are they still going to look at me like, hey, you're not an entity because you're not registered with us?
Now remember the full faith and credit clause of the U.S. Constitution is what allows you to drive in New York on your California license and so on. That's why all these major TV networks are established in Delaware, but they can do business anywhere. So if you decide, wherever you're incorporated, if you decide that you want to establish your entity is a foreign corp in another state, then that's a determination that you make and you do. However, there's such a thing called corporate formalities and maintaining in the state in which you're incorporated, maintaining what is known as a corporate presence. That is an address and a phone number. And if you do that, then you don't have to register as a foreign corp in another state. But this is not a very clear-cut thing, because all these other states, if you're making money there, they're going to want to tax you.
They're going to want their taxes, exactly. And they're going to want you to have a business license as well.
Right. So this is a fight that you'll have on a case-by-case basis. Right.
Because that was the thing with California, why they changed a few years ago when other people were going to Delaware and Nevada, becoming corporations in those areas. They're going, okay, so you want to go into those areas. Well, we're going to tax you guys for doing business in our state, and this tax is going to be equivalent to what the fees may be or even more.
That's California.
Yeah. But this is good information for us, though. And I'm sure for those of you entrepreneurs who are listening right now who are trying to decide, how do I incorporate? What structure do I need to establish? How's this going to benefit me? Before I move forward, I just want our guest in the studio, Mr. Francisco, to tell you, when you're determining a structure, what are the things you should look at when you're deciding that you're going to, I'm going to choose this structure over that structure? So could you tell the audience a little bit, what are some of the things they should be thinking about? Because when I think of these things, I'm thinking about liability, I'm thinking of taxation, I'm thinking of benefit.
And do the particular industry you're in have any bearing on which structure that you should?
Absolutely. So there are lots of considerations that go into making a determination of where you're going to be established as an entity.
Right.
And that includes the various laws of that particular jurisdiction, taxation, what kind of taxes are they going to assess? Few states don't have any corporate taxes at all, so you want to be there. What kinds of laws they have that will protect shareholders, officers,